Hello, beautiful people. Today I am unpacking my nativity scene, sharing a story, a journey to Christmas, the advent of something new being born into this world and into our hearts and minds. Today I will be using my creche or my nativity scene that I've used in my home for a very long time. I hope that you will use your creche and this video to unpack your nativity in your homes. On the first Sunday of Advent, we think about prophets. Prophets are wise people. God speaks in and through them. There are many prophets in our faith tradition and in our world, folks who point to something bigger. This time the prophet shared that heaven and earth will pass away, but my words, Emmanuel, will not pass away. The prophet shared that something important will happen in Bethlehem in a stable. Not like a nice clean stable like this one is. The prophets didn't know exactly what was going to be born there, but they knew that together we should watch and wonder. We light our first candle for hope, hope of the prophets who watched and wonder and point to the world God dreams of. On the second Sunday of Advent, we think about the Holy Family who left their homes, leaving everything behind to go to Bethlehem. Here is Mary, and here is Joseph. Sometimes on this long journey, Mary couldn't take another step. She was about to have a baby. When she was tired, she rode on a donkey. Our sacred story shares that Mary said yes to bring about something that was bigger, as did Joseph, who listened to an angel and said yes to looking after Mary. Mary and Joseph must have been the last people coming up the road to Bethlehem that night so long ago, as there was no room in the inn. But they are first to find themselves safe in my creche. Here is Mary. Here is Joseph. Here is the donkey, who I am sure needed a rest. We light our second candle of Advent for peace, a type of peace that you find when you say yes to being part of something bigger. On the third Sunday in Advent, we remember the ordinary shepherds who were standing in the fields around Bethlehem caring for their sheep. Here's my shepherd. Suddenly, there was so much light in the sky that it was hurting their eyes, and they were afraid. The angels were singing, "Don't be afraid, we bring you tidings of great joy, peace on earth and goodwill to everyone." Angels often say things like that, "Don't be afraid," because it's scary to have a messenger of God come to you. So the shepherds ran with joy to Bethlehem to see a child who would change everything. Let's put our shepherd here. And we light the third candle of Advent for joy. Joy is that feeling that the shepherds had that night as they ran towards something bigger than themselves. The kind of joy that you have when you don't stop to think about what does something bigger require of us. On the fourth Sunday in Advent, we remember the three kings. The Magi, the wise ones. They came far from the east, and they were wise, and they had knowledge and courage. The Magi knew the most about the stars. They could tell people when it was time to plant crops or take a trip. And suddenly they saw a wild star in the sky, one that they had never seen before. This star went where it wanted to go. The Magi followed this star all the way to Bethlehem. They came from so far away that they got there after the baby was born. We celebrate their arrival at Epiphany, which is on January the 6th. We remember them now as they always seem to be part of our nativity scene. Like us, they long to be part of something bigger and to make meaning of their lives in relationship with God and creation. Let's place them in our nativity scene. We'll put this person there, and how about we put you back here, and we'll place this wise person here. And we light this fourth candle of Advent for love. The wise ones who brought all of who they were, their wisdom, their courage, and their love. They saw something from a distance and journeyed towards something bigger than themselves. This brings us to Christmas Eve. And when you come to the mystery of Christmas, everything changes. Some see this time of year as a time for purple because we're waiting for a king. And purple is the color for kings. Because Jesus changes everything about what it means to be a leader, to share the good news, the color becomes blue of celebration. On this night, on this very special night, this is when the baby is born. The one we have been waiting for. Emmanuel was his name, meaning God is with us. This is how God works, the wonder of something so big held together in something so small. It's time to light the Christ candle. Let us take a few moments to enjoy this light, to remember the child that was born in a dark time, in a dark place, the Word that became flesh, bone, and breath, and lived among us. It's Christmas Day. We celebrate the Word that became flesh, bone, and breath and lived among us. Mary treasured all that she saw and heard in her heart. Let's take a moment to think about the advent of something bigger, the candle of hope for a new world, the candle of peace, knowing something new is possible, the candle of joy to be part of this new thing, the candle of love the love it takes to bring about something new, and the Christ light that lives in my heart and your heart and in the heart of this beautiful creation. On the first Sunday of Christmas, the sun has come up and reality may begin to set in. Something bigger starts with something very, very small. The shepherds returned to their fields, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told to them by the angels. Jesus grew, and on the 8th day Mary and Joseph took Jesus to the temple to be dedicated. Along the way, Simeon saw Jesus as a teeny tiny little baby, blessed him. And then they saw Anna, a prophet, who knew who Jesus was. Mary and Joseph were amazed that others could see what they knew to be true, that God was at work in this teeny tiny little baby. On the second Sunday of Christmas, we think about something bigger. What's next? The Gospel of John helps to point the way.
The reading from the Gospel of John, taken from the Inclusive Bible. In the beginning there was the Word. The Word was in God's presence, and the Word was God. The Word was present to God from the beginning. Through the Word, all things came into being, and apart from the Word, nothing came into being that has come into being. In the Word was life, and that life was humanity's light, a light that shines in the darkness, a light that the darkness has never overtaken. Then came one named John, sent as an envoy from God, who came as a witness to testify about the light, so that through his testimony everyone might believe. He himself wasn't the light. He only came to testify about the light, the true light that illumines all humankind. The Word was coming into the world, was in the world. And though the world was made through the Word didn't recognize it. Though the Word came to its own realm, the Word's own people didn't accept it. Yet any who did accept the Word, who believed in that name, were empowered to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor urge of flesh, nor human will, but born of God. And the Word became flesh, and stayed for a little while among us. We saw the Word's glory, the favor and position a parent gives an only child, filled with grace, filled with truth. This is a story of our faith.